Iogen's shoulder was torn apart by the blade. He collapsed, burning with pain like fire. In that critical moment, he immediately pulled out the two divine pearls, swallowed them whole, letting the surging power flood into his body like a violent wave. A stream of scorching heat spread from his chest, quickly healing the wound. The aura around him exploded fiercely. He gripped the trident tightly, forcing himself to stand firm. His gaze sweeping straight towards Zhang Chen as he gritted his teeth and ordered himself. Two divine pearls, enhanced defense. He charged straight into the water, his body cutting through the waves as the trident whistled in the wind. His arrogant eyes blazed brightly as he snarled with contempt. "Haya, you want to fight me? You're still too inexperienced." Zhang Chen held the long sword, his gaze sharp as a blade, the corner of his mouth curling coldly. "I have crushed Long Lin before. Besides his boastful mouth, what else do you have to rely on?" Iogen gritted his teeth, his hand tightening on the weapon, then suddenly thrust a deadly strike. He laughed provocatively. "Come on, today I will split you apart." Zhang Chen spun his sword to block, the clash of metal ringing harshly, the pressure from both sides tearing the air apart. In the stands, Ji Hong frowned, eyes wide open. Iogen is peak level 6, carries the true dragon bloodline, plus the two divine pearls. This guy is really tough. I'm not even sure I could break through his defense, yet Zhang Chen managed it. Gu Kaitian stared intently at the match, a proud smile curling at the corner of his lips. Don't forget that little god is the strongest at the starting gate. After 49 intense rounds of combat, Zhang Chen tightened his grip on the sword hilt and unleashed a thunderous slash straight down. Iogen immediately sensed the murderous intent and hurriedly assumed a defensive stance, activating his shield. The two gods' steel shield protected him, fully absorbing the sword's deadly energy. Although the sturdy shield held firm, the slash still knocked Iogen's trident far away. Seeing that the shield was unscathed and the opponent unharmed, Zhang Chen frowned slightly. Even the Gu Kaitian's Zan Shen Beyond couldn't penetrate the two gods' pearl. He would have to rely on Ji Shu's further research after returning. As the shock subsided and the sword energy was blocked, Iogen grew even more ferocious. Dragon scales rose all over his body, sharp claws appeared clearly, his sharp teeth ground fiercely, and his eyes filled with murderous intent swept toward Zhang Chen. In an instant, Iogen fully transformed into a dragon, soaring straight into the sky under Zhang Chen's cold gaze. A roar shook the air. The dragon bloodline had awakened. "You must die." The true dragon manifested, circling in the sky as thunder roared and wild winds surged. His emerald eyes pierced Zhang Chen like ice daggers, and the fierce dragon roar shook heaven and earth. "Not only you, but your relatives and kindred. This Duke Xia will become a sea of blood." That overwhelming pressure pressed down, suffocating the space. Every hiss and tail swipe carried destruction. The aura of the true dragon enveloped thousands of miles, like a death sentence for all living beings here. At this moment, Zhang Chen felt that his body had reached its limit, his form gradually returning to normal. He glanced at his hand and chuckled softly, having forgotten that Zan Shen Beyond could only be maintained for so long. But that was fine. Zhenyu Ti had only used up 1 million G-Karma elephants so far. Ji Ling Chu frowned as she watched the battle, beads of sweat rolling down her forehead. Anxiety stirred within her. Zhang Chen was taking excessive risks. Although the Runlungju bloodline was not as pure as the DK Runlungju, it still carried the power of the true dragon. Once that power erupted, it would produce terrifying divine abilities beyond prediction. Everything happened in a flash. Iogen's claws struck down like meteors falling from space, the sensation no different than a giant crushing a tiny ant. In the stands, the elders all turned pale as they saw the precarious situation hanging by a thread. The Azer dragon standing on the water roared, causing one elder to shout loudly, "No hesitation! Quickly open Jishu Zung! Take down Eogan first, then deal with the rest. Otherwise, it will be too late." But outsiders could never fully understand the calculations of those involved. Zhong Chen did not dodge. Instead, he seized the moment before the claws could reach him and instantly exploded with lightning speed. His long sword swung forward straight at Eogan, unleashing the Lei Shan strike. He stepped on Long Lin and his long sword emitted a lightning bolt that sliced through the void toward his opponent. The dragon roar shook heaven and earth, and the true dragon bloodline within Eogan was also awakened to its utmost limit. In mind, the name Jiang Chen echoed repeatedly, beating like a spell. The image of Jiang Chen rushing closer made his pupils flare, the bloodshot eyes gathering into an uncontrollable frenzy of excitement. On the river's surface, Jiang Chen moved lightly, as if walking on clouds, his shadow spreading in all directions. He glanced around, a slight smirk at the corner of his mouth. "Speed? You don't stand a chance. Playing with you has been enough until now. Now, you're worthless." Clenching the longsword tightly, a dark red power spread. Millions of dust mites like a thick mist covered the battlefield. Jiang Chen activated Qinshang Zhen Yu, unleashing 6 million force in full. Before the ice-cold claws descended, Jiang Chen just curled his lips in a smile. The power from his arm erupted violently like flowing lava. Zhen Yu Tian Jia immediately formed. The speed was so fast it created a blazing red streak rushing straight toward Eogan. Kai Tian Dao sounded, while the opponent also bent his body forward, launching the Tianlong Jiao move in response. As he closed in on Eogan's giant body, Jiang Chen gathered all his strength to slash down. Behind him, a giant ghostly figure with blazing eyes flashed by, and Huangzu Bingxing Shi descended. The blade tore through the dragon's scale, shredding flesh and cutting deep into the dragon's leg. Red blood splattered, dyeing the water. The dragon's roar echoed, shaking heaven and earth. In the excruciating pain, reason surged up. Eogan understood he could not continue fighting. He twisted and fled, but still managed to grit his teeth and roar, "Jiang Chen, Long Huang Haizu will wipe out your clan." Trying to run? No way. Jiang Chen leapt into the air, unleashing a powerful strike aimed at the fleeing enemy. Mingxin Jimao shot straight through. The move, like a bullet chambered and fired, pierced Eogan's sturdy body. A scream of Eogan echoed as scorching flames erupted from the wound, burning his entire body as he fled. Seeing the perfect opportunity, Jiang Chen immediately shouted, "Little bugs, stop playing in the water and come out to feed." As soon as the words ended, pairs of eyes glowing like headlights simultaneously rose from the water. "Feeding time has come! Feeding time has come!" The swarm of dust bugs poured out densely like a black curtain, tightly wrapping around Eogan's body before everyone's eyes. The wounds on his body rapidly spread, chunks of flesh being gnawed away and disappearing. Yuan Musha, witnessing the battle's outcome, clearly decided, landed and praised. "Not bad, not bad. Thanks for helping me finish the task." Jiang Chen saw him arrive and casually asked, "Not going to keep watching for fun anymore?" Yuan Wuxia smiled wickedly, his sharp gaze locking onto the prey like a blade. "Now you can rest assured and die." Jiang Chen glanced around and replied nonchalantly, "You're all here? I really feel at ease." Fu Guji rode his sword, cutting through the wind as he charged forward. Upon seeing Jiang Chen, he shouted loudly, "Quick, follow me!" But before he could get closer, a cold laugh rang out. "Feng Yun Wuji, you arrived quite fast." But from the darkness, a figure suddenly lunged out and delivered a thunderous kick to Funguji. "This is the Holy Sun's battle. None of you are allowed to interfere. Your opponent is me, Ouyang-yi." Funguji reflexively ducked low, narrowly avoiding the high attack. Realizing Jiang Chen had lost all support, Yuan Wuxia became even more frenzied. His face twisted grotesquely, his pupils emitting an unusual glow. He cracked his wrist with a snapping sound, a sinister smile stretching from his lips to his ears as he said, "See, no one will save you." In response, Jiang Chen remained calm. "Yeah, I see. It's okay for now." Jiang Chen slightly raised his eyebrows, his gaze locking on to the pervert before him like a hunting beast. On his arm, dark purple-black patterns slowly appeared, glowing brightly. At the same time, swarms of dust mites spread across his body. He smiled wickedly. "Come out, kids! Freed!" The swarms of mites rolled up like a descending night, engulfing the He-Yilin space entirely. They surrounded everything except those on Jiang Chen's side. His voice rang out coldly. "Eat your fill, but don't touch my people." Seeing this scene, Yuan Wuxia immediately panicked, his eyes wide open and teeth grinding fiercely. Doesn't he only have 1,000,000 Zhao Shi Tong? On one side, Funguji was also stunned for 3 seconds, muttering, "Wasn't it just supposed to be a fun test? Is this really the trump card?" Yang Yi stared silently at the thick darkness descending before his eyes, cursing, "Who was the informant? Deduct their salary and fire them immediately. What the hell is this quantity?" Ding Shunchu looked up at the pitch-black sky, holding his head and laughing heartily. "Wow, this is seriously cool!" Meanwhile, Nangongyan crossed his arms and smiled calmly. It seems Jiang Chen
no longer needs us. Su Qianqian stood on a tree branch, her fox-like eyes shining brightly, as she focused on Jiang Chen. She lightly touched her jade finger to her soft lips and giggled. "I didn't expect Xian Yi to choose a man with such taste. Even a fox spirit like me has been enchanted by him." Hao Ran watched the earth-shaking battle from afar, his eyes blazing as he lightly pushed up his glasses. 3,000 miles of Zhou Shi can still face 10,000 troops? Truly spectacular. Xiao Ming-chu smiled at this, withdrawing his gaze. "Enough showing off. Come with me to deal with a few guys or we'll miss the good part." In the stands, Gu Katien was so excited he was shouting, "That's right, my disciple is the best." Ji Hanan frowned in annoyance. "Am I the only one who doesn't know? You two are hiding it too well. It's infuriating." Ten Ming noticed the unusual development and immediately turned to Yan Zhen, his voice urgent. "Master, Jiang Chen has some kind of scheme." But Yan Zhen remained calm, his face stern. "Be quiet, focus, and watch. Vota isn't an easy opponent. If you panic, I'll panic too, you troublemaker." Despite saying that, Yan Zhen clenched his teeth in anger, veins bulging on his face. Fortunately, he had equipped Vota with Tian Xinming swords, so there was still a chance to win. But with hundreds of millions of Joshi like this, no wonder DK wanted to kill Jiang Chen. Yuan Wuxian glanced around, then stopped at Jiang Chen. He burst into a mad laugh, sniffing coldly. "Is this your trump card? Don't even dream of scaring me." He gathered his strength, bent his body down, and unleashed all his latent power. A dazzling purple light spread all over him, a wild force sweeping in all directions. The divine body had awakened. A strange laugh echoed. His face twisted horribly. He kept muttering, "Blood of a god, heart of a god, hand of a god," then looked at each part of his body in turn, his eyes like those of a madman. In just a moment, his body expanded into a giant, titan-like form, overwhelming in presence. His fierce eyes locked on Jiang Chen and a roar resounded. "I am the god. Jiang Chen, die." This video ends. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel.